Good morning. So in this session, we'll discuss about IoT protocols. Last session, we had discussed about IoT, definition of IoT and its features, then how the IoT works, and how the IoT connects the network. So today's session, we'll discuss about IoT protocols. So what are the protocols in IoT? So IoT protocols. So first, why we need protocols or what we mean by protocols? So we know that humans can communicate with each other, the same way the devices this can communicate with other devices through some protocols, which are known as protocols. So these devices can communicate with other devices in IoT. For that, we need some procedures to follow. For example, if two devices are there, if they want to communicate. So first, for example, a device A and a device B. So what a device starts first, it sends a request to establish a connection between the two devices, that is A and B. So when A sends to establish a connection for transferring the information from A to B. So when the A receives the information from the B, that you can establish a connection. So A communicate with B, then generally sends one acknowledgement that whether you can receive the information now. Then again the B device will send some acknowledgement that I am ready to receive the information. So these are the ways in which the devices can communicate with each other. So that is a thing we call as protocol. That is set of procedures for communicating between the devices. So the protocol is defined as a set of rules and regulation guidelines having how to react for commands from another devices. So these protocols are very important while in communication devices. For IoT, we need some more powerful protocols to communicate within the devices. So what are the IoT protocols we have? So generally we have protocols in terms of a layer. So we know that OSA layer, 7 layers will be there. So at the bottom we'll have a physical layer. Then next we'll have a data link layer, then network layer, then transport layer, then session layer, then application layer. So for IoT protocols, we'll have first data link layer protocol, then network layer protocols, then transport layer protocol, then session layer protocol, then IoT service layer protocol. But if you see in a OSA layer, we'll have a presentation layer protocol also. That is a physical layer. In OSA, the general reference model, we have 7 layers. A physical layer, at the bottom we have physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, then application layer. Here for our IoT, we'll have data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, and service layer. So first we'll discuss about the IoT data link layer protocols. So what are the protocols we need for our data link layer? So the IoT data link protocols provide the services to the network layer. So same like OSI layer, all the layers are interconnected. So physical layer is interconnected with data link layer. The data link layer is interconnected with both physical and also for network. So this way the interconnection will be there up to from physical layer to application layer. So there are various protocols and standard technologies specified for the different organizations for the data link protocols. So now we'll see what are data link protocols we have for our IoT. So first we can see a Bluetooth protocol. So everyone knows about the Bluetooth. So normally we have a Bluetooth technology in our phone also, in our car also we can connect the mobile Bluetooth to our car also. So Bluetooth, we know that it is a short range wireless communication network over a radio frequency. So it is mostly integrated into smartphones and mobile devices. So its communication networks within the 2.4 GHz, that is ISM band, that is industrial, scientific, and medical band frequencies. The data rate will be up to 3 Mbps in the Bluetooth network. So properties of Bluetooth, we can see the standard of Bluetooth is Bluetooth 4.2. The frequency range is 2.4 GHz. The covering range, the distance, that is a range of communication. The Bluetooth range can cover a maximum up to 150 meter, from range 50 to 150 meter. The data transfer rates up to 3 Mbps. So what are the advantages of a Bluetooth network? So it is wireless, it is cheap and easy to install and easy to communicate, and it is free to use if the device is installed with it. So what are the disadvantages of Bluetooth network? So one thing is it is only for short range communication. The next thing, it connects only two devices at a time, not more than two devices, not more than other devices. For example, if Bluetooth is connected with a mobile to another mobile, it can't connect other devices. So it connects only two devices at a time. That is one who is sending the information, the one which is receiving the information. So next we have a one step ahead, that Bluetooth Low Energy, BLE. It is a short range communication protocol with physical layer and MAC layer, that is medium access control layer. So especially it is designed for low power devices which uses less data. It remains always in sleep mode except when the connection between the devices is initiated and the data transmission occurs. Due to this, it conserves the power of the devices. So BLE follows the master slave architecture and offers two types of frames, that are data frames and adverting frames. So you can see how the BLE technology works. So it will be in a sleep mode. If the connection established between the two devices, then it will transfer the data. Again, if the transferring is over, if the communication is over, then again it goes for a sleep mode. So generally here master nodes will sense the advertisement of the channels to find the slaves and connect them and transfer the informations. So next we'll see Z-Wave. So it is a wireless communication protocol with a frequency of 900 megahertz. So it is also like short range. It ranges between 30 meter to 100 meter with a data transfer rate of 100 kbps. So it is suitable for small messages in IoT applications. Example for home automations. Because in home automation, so every devices will be within a maximum, it will be 50 to 60 meters. So within the home, for example, to home appliances like AC or washing machine or fan or light. So everything will lies within 100 meter. So it is especially used for home automations. So this communication protocol operates on mesh network having some controllers. So you can see the Z waves. So it can control the home appliances, home control, that is home automation, then entertainment controls, then regarding health monitoring, then home security, then energy management. So what are the properties of Z-Wave protocols? If you see the properties, the standard was Z-Wave Alliance, that is ZAD12837. So ITU is a standard National Telecom Union. From that G.9959, it is a standard for our Z-Wave. The frequency range is, then the range for a distance 30 to 100 meter. Then data transfer rate 100 kbps. So what are the advantages of Z-Wave protocol? So what we have discussed, it consumes less power for remote or local controls. The installation is simple and it is interoperability. What are the applications? So smart product, and it can be used for IoT based applications. It saves energy and also for home security. So next one we have a Zigbee Smart Energy. So Zigbee also is a low power, low data rate wireless personal area network. It also a communication protocol. It is also mostly used in home automation and also in industrial settings. Since it is a low power communication protocol, the IoT power devices used with Zigbee technology. Uh, the protocol is based on IEEE standard, that is 802.15.4, and operating at the range of 2.4 GHz. It supports the star, cluster, or wireless mesh type of topology for networks. So Zigbee uses the following devices in its network. For example, you can see the Zigbee coordinator, that is blue color. Then we have a Zigbee end device. Then we have a router. So if a Zigbee coordinator will share the information to the router, that is via router, to the end nodes who needs communication. For example, now you can see the one coordinator, three routers, and each routers having six end nodes. So if the data to be transferred, for example, for A, B, C, we have n nodes, then it will, from the coordinator, the information via router, it goes for your end devices. Then the properties of Zigbee protocol, the standard is Zigbee 3.0, that is based on the IEEE standard 802.15.4. The frequency range, that is 2.4 GHz. The distance range, the covering range will be 10 to 100 meter. The data transfer rate 250 kbps. Advantage of Zigbee protocol, it is wireless protocol. Then type of networking, it goes for mesh type of networking, that is mesh type of topology. Then direct communication to the devices, and it consumes low power. Then what are the disadvantages? It is costly and it works with low speed within a small distance. So in terms of application of Zigbee protocol, we have commercial and residential control, for personal and healthcare, for home networking, for industrial control and management, and also for consumer electronics. So next we have the other protocol called 6 LoRaWAN, that is low power wide area network. So it is a low power wide area networking protocol or protocol designed to wirelessly connect battery operated things to the internet, either in regional or national or global networks. Generally, it targets wide area network. So it is designed to provide low power WANs with features specially needed to support low cost mobile secure bidirectional communications in IoT or M2M, smart energy or smart city and industrial applications. We know that IoT, Internet of Things, and M2M, machine-to-machine communication. So it is optimized for low power consumption and supporting large networks with millions and millions of devices. The data rates ranges from zero point 0.3 kbps to 50 kbps. So if you see the properties, standard is LoRaWAN. The frequency supports the various range of frequencies. The range for urban environment, it covers the range for 2 to 5 kilometer. For a suburban environment, it can cover up to 15 kilometers. So data rate 0.3 to 50 kbps. So next, a protocol for data link layer, we have dash 7, that is D7A. So it is Alliance protocol. It is an open standard for a bidirectional wireless communication, for especially for sensor actuator applications. So it is from ISO 18007 for active RFID and operates in the sub-gigahertz of ISM bands. We know that ISM band frequency is 2.4 gigahertz. So it is fully bidirectional, low power protocol with configurable latency. It also supports a security encryption and authentications, that is protection against the replay attacks, extended range through usage of low rates, a native support for frequency and automatic gain control. So generally, it fills the gap between the short area network and the large area networks. So it will be useful in urban and also for industrial network. So connecting the actuators and the messaging applications, for example, sensors, alarms, states, so within a ranges of 1,000 meters, that is 1 kilometer. So it is very efficient energy per bit characteristics, and it can sustain fluidly an important uplink messaging throughput. So we can freely download the Dash 7 D7A from the Dash 7 Alliance website. Then we can use it. So next we'll see about wireless HART. So it is a wireless sensor networking technology. So based on Highway Addressable Remote Transducer Protocol, that is HART. So it is also a data link protocol that operates the standard of IEEE 802.15.4 physical layer and adopts a TDMA, that is time division multiple access, in its medium access control layer. So it is a secure and reliable protocol, and also it uses advanced encryptions to encrypt the messages and calculate the integrity in order to offer reliability. So generally it targets sensors, actuators, that is the rotating elements, the environmental health conditions, then safety applications, for example, like conditional monitoring, flexible manufacturing, which can be reconfigured for specific products. So it is some small overview of a wireless HAT protocol. Here we have a field devices. Field device will communicate with adapter. Then adapter will communicate with the access point. Then through gateway, it goes for the host. So in between, you can see the field devices and the device routers. So it includes the field devices, that is the basic device in order to sense or activate the functions. From that, it goes for the router device, which serves as a packet, that is the message has been routed in terms of packets, and adapter which binds the hard devices into the mesh network, then handheld devices that is carried by the mobile users, then we have an access point, that is the connecting fields to the gateway. Generally the gateway or the network manager will bridge the host applications, that is in a unique nature. So this wireless HAT protocol operates in 2.4 GHz ISM band using the IEEE standard with QPSK modulation technique. The next we'll see the data link communication protocol, that is Wi-Fi. Everyone is well known about Wi-Fi network. So Wi-Fi connectivity is often as an obvious choice for many developers. For example, within the home environment or within the local area network, now we are using the Wi-Fi modems. So it requires that there is a wide exciting infrastructure as well as offering fast data transfer and the ability to handle the high quantities of data. So currently the most common Wi-Fi standard, that is what we are using in our homes and business, or 802.11, and which offers the serious throughput in the range of hundreds of megabit per second. So which is fine for our file transfers, but it may too power consuming for many IoT applications. So real time we can see when we communicate our mobile, if you put hotspot through Wi-Fi network, you can feel the power consuming. So the battery discharge very fast when you go for Wi-Fi mode. So what are the properties of a Wi-Fi? So the standard properties is based on 802.11n. That is what we are using in our homes. That is the standard for Wi-Fi. Then frequencies, it can support 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz band. That is the band within the band of frequency. And range approximately 50 meter. The data rates 6000 Mbps maximum, but 150 to 200 Mbps is more typical. That is depending upon the channel frequency what we are using, and also based on the number of antennas. So next we will see the cellular, that is LTE. So any IoT applications that require operations over long distance. So till now what we have discussed, all the protocols will a short range. So over longer distance, we can take the advantage of GSM or 3G or 4G cellular communication capabilities. While cellular is clearly capable of sending high quantities of data over a large distance, especially for 4G, the expense and also power consumption will be too high for many applications. But it can be ideal for sensor-based and low bandwidth data projects that will send a very low amount of data over the internet. For example, LTE, that is long-term evaluation, we are using in our 4G. So using the cellular network also, we can send the information or we can have the protocol for our IoT devices. So these are the data link layer protocols for IoT. So Bluetooth, what we have discussed, the data link layer protocols, Bluetooth low energy, Z-Wave, Zigbee, then Dash 7, then 6 LoRaWAN, then Wi-Fi, then cellular networks. So in next session, we'll discuss about network layer protocols of IoT. Thank you. And we'll see the properties of Wi-Fi. What are properties of cellular we have? The cellular will have standard, it will be a GSM or GPRS, that is edge technology what we are using in 2G. Then we have UMTS, that is Universal Mobile Telecommunication Services, and for high speed packet access for 3G. And 4G we are using long-term evaluation. The frequency ranges will be 900 or 1800 or 1900 or slash 2100 MHz frequency ranges. So ranges maximum 350, 35 kilometers maximum for GSM and 200 kilometers maximum for 3G, that is HSPA. The data rates we can see for GPRS we have 35 to 170 kilobit per second. Then we have for edge, we have 120 to 384. Then for UMTS, we have in terms of Mbps. Then for HSP, we have 10 Mbps. And now for LTE also, we are having 3 to 10 Mbps. So these are about the properties of cellular. It is not properties of Wi-Fi. It is a properties of cellular. So once again, thank you. So next session we'll discuss about the IoT network layer protocols. Thank you.